Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. Today I can say this is part 3 of continuing videos regarding meat stuffing. I started with dumplings with meat and then I created a video just for the meat stuffing, and now I will be using the same stuffing for baked pierogies. I have recorded videos for potato cheese pierogies, sauerkraut mushroom, and blueberries, and meat. The meat pierogies, I have two kinds. But today, those pierogies will be baked. So it will be crispier crust, and you can either make sauce to dip it in as appetizer, or you can sprinkle cheese on the end of baking so it melts and gives you this crispy, nice texture. So baked pierogies today. Welcome to my kitchen and thank you for watching. Ingredients for today. I will need about 3 cups of flour, which is about 425 grams, 2 sticks of butter, a little over 1/4 of a cup of water, 1 egg and egg yolk, and 1 big tablespoon of sour cream. And on the end, 1 extra egg, which I will whisk and put on top of those pierogies for a nicer, crispier crust. One important thing I forgot to mention: 1 teaspoon, flat teaspoon of salt in my flour. The butter, I took it out 10-15 minutes ago, so it's on a colder side, and I cut it into smaller pieces so it's easier incorporating it into the flour and egg. So flour goes on the board. And like I said, I already have a teaspoon of salt in there. Egg, and then egg yolk. Butter. Sauerkraut. And on the end, water. And I don't want to pour all of it yet. So I will go slowly, mix additions. So that's the second time I'm putting that water in. And if it doesn't feel too wet, then I can get the rest of it. The feel of it is not going to be exactly the same as the regular dough that you make pierogi for boiling. This dough has so much butter because you want it to be crispy when you bake it. And it will take a little bit longer because you have cold butter you're working with. So be patient, it will all come together. So another reason I like to spread the water and not put it all at once is when you put it all at once, it will go all over your board. If you do it slowly in 3 parts, then you won't have such a big mess. And as you can see, it is coming together. You have one cohesive piece. So the extra flour will go underneath, so it's easier for you to work with it until you don't feel any more bumps of that cold butter. So it will take a few minutes. And as you can see, it is very good exercise for your muscles. And this is almost done. It comes together without any clumps, any pieces of separate ingredients. So a couple more minutes and I will wrap it and put it in the fridge for at least half an hour before I start making those pierogies. Okay, and here it is. Soft, but it doesn't stick to your hands. Okay, and now I will sprinkle it with some flour, put foil around it, and in the fridge it goes. Because it is more butter in here, it's easier to work with it when it's cold. Otherwise, it will be sticking to the board. Okay, see you about 30-40 minutes. Okay, time to make those pierogi. And what I want to do is take some, maybe 1/3 of that dough onto the board and the rest back in the fridge. That way it will be cold when I need it. And you can take a glass to cut round shapes so it looks beautiful. But what do you do with the rest of the dough once you do that? Well, you have to roll it again, add more flour, and adding more flour will create dough that it's not so crispy and fluffy no more. More flour will make your dough texture a little bit different, and I don't like to do that. So I cut squares out, and then the dough is so soft and nice to manipulate it. You can actually create a round pierogi and not waste any of that dough, and I will show you how I do it. So first, roll this dough out. My stuffing is cooled off, and in case you have a hard time closing the dough, get some dish with water and you can dip your fingers on the ends. Once you get it wet, it's just easier to glue it together. So as you can see, that's kind of an awkward shape. It's not a circle, it's not a square or a triangle, but this dough is so flexible, you can make it look good. So stuffing in, first round, just lock it all inside. Okay, dip your fingers in flour then, and then if you have a corner that's sticking out, push it in. Okay, just like here, I have this, so I push it in, and that way it is round. If you want to make sure it is closed up, one more time go around. You can stretch out a little bit those places that are dipped inside, and those places that are coming out, you can push it in, and that way you will have round pierogi. Okay, and this one is a square. And same thing, put the stuffing in. First round, just squeeze it, lock the meat inside. Okay, it looks like I can use a little bit more here. And see how those corners are sticking out and it's not round. Well, fingers in the flour, and then sticking corners, push them in, and then stretch out the top, corners, push them in, and you will have a round pierog. So the last one is awkward shape again. So stuffing in, make sure it is distributed equally, And then first round, just close it all in. And you will have this awkward shape again, corners sticking out. Dip your fingers in flour, go around, push the corners in, the top, stretch it out a little bit more, corners in, and here we go. You don't need to cut the circles out, and you don't need to waste that beautiful dough you have. Okay, one more time. I will try to come closer with the camera so you can see. In my previous house, I could put it on top of the cabinet, so it was so much easier if it comes to filming it from the top, from above my head. And here I don't have anything to attach the camera, so it's a little bit more tricky. Okay, so here it is. Corner out, corner out. So I just squeeze it, push corners in here, stretch the top a little bit more, push corners in, and here we go, round shape. Okay, I will come one more time and then stop so it's not boring. That would be way too long to watch this video, and move to the next part. And again, it's not even closed yet, so I have to close it first. And here we go. Squeeze the side, push the corner in, stretch the top a little bit, push corner in, and here we go. Out of this recipe, I have 52 pierogis. Depends how big you're gonna make them. It might be a little bit less, a little bit more, but I have 52 right now. So I had this egg, and I will put this egg on top of some of the pierogis. Another option is, if you would like to use that sauce that I made for that meat stuffing, you could just don't pour over the pierogi. Better to dip it in that sauce and then eat it, because if you pour over the pierogi, they will become a little bit soggy. And that's the thing here with the baked pierogi, that they are crunchy. So you want to continue having that crunch. So put that sauce in a separate dish and then dip the pierogi in it if you like that sauce. There is another way of eating it. You can make garlic sauce to it, just like tzatziki sauce has falafel to dip in, and those pierogi can have garlic sauce. And I will put the recipe for the garlic sauce as well. So you have many ways to eat those. Great as appetizer, but I have eaten those few times for dinner, and I was as happy as regular food happy. So no complaints there. Very new, universal. You can eat them any way you want it. Okay, oven is preheated to 375 and they will bake for about 15 minutes. I forgot about one. Huh. When they start getting golden, then I'll check and make sure they don't burn if I leave them too long. Every oven is a little bit different, so I will set my timer for 12 minutes for first check on them, and then we'll see if they need additional 3 to 4 minutes. The color is the key. The color is your indication those are ready, and once they are, I will come closer with the camera to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, and those are done. It took me 16 minutes to be exact, and you can see the golden color on them. Crispy, crunchy, great for dipping in a sauce of your choice. I will cut one in half and come up close to show you the inside of it. But these are done. Have fun baking and enjoy eating those. Smacznego, everyone. You can see how thin the skin is. Plenty of the stuffing inside. It is great to dip those either in that sauce from yesterday or garlic sauce, which I will put under the video. Hi again. I have decided to put a little clip together for those of you who are wondering why I have this bump on my hand. And when I move my hand, it becomes bigger or smaller, it moves around. This is a ruptured muscle, and I know it's very visible. I have it because I was in a car accident about 5.5 years ago, and I do not remember the accident. I woke up in a hospital a couple days later, and slowly things were coming together. I am very thankful I do not remember it because I might be afraid of driving, and I feel comfortable driving a car right now. My husband and I, we were just driving on the main street, and someone was coming from a side street, not paying attention to the stop sign, driving pretty fast, straight into our car. The car was damaged, not drivable. I had broken ribs. Some of my backbones were cracked. That was the other thing, the ruptured muscle, and of course bruises. The worst thing though was I was pregnant, 5 months pregnant with my daughter, and at the time in the hospital, my husband was told by the doctors that my chances of survival are about 10%, and for my daughter, probably zero. So that was the worst thing, the stress. The rest of the pregnancy, I had to sleep on that hospital bed in my own house, not laying down, but kind of sitting, and just worried about how the baby's doing, if the baby's going to be okay or not. Even today, with all the technology, nobody can tell you 100% if you're gonna have a healthy baby after something like this or not. But she is. She is just a bunch of energy, crazy little girl. She cannot sit still. She keeps me on my toes. So again, if you wonder why I'm so skinny and I do eat everything I bake, because I run after her. I run after her morning till night. So she gives me all the exercise I need. I don't need any gym. I have gym at home. If I wanted to fix that muscle, I could. The doctor can sew the muscle together, and it will take about 6 to 8 weeks me being in a cast. So I'll be exchanging my bump for a scar, and for me this is not worth it. It doesn't hurt me, it doesn't bother me. There are more important things in life than little something like this, and I decided it's okay, I can live with that. But again, I know it's visible, and some of you might wonder, like, what is this? So this is the explanation. That's why I have this bump, and it's gonna stay with me until the day I die. I'm happy I'm alive right now because, like I said, 10% chances of survival, and for my baby, zero. I'm thankful I'm alive. I'm pretty healthy. I love the baking, I love the cooking, and I have 2 healthy children. So there's lots to be thankful for. Just wanted to let you know why, and wish you a great day, great weekend, and happy baking. Thank you.